Hey guys, JP here. So today, Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, held a press briefing. Boys are a treat whenever she does those. So I decided to go into some of the blatant lies that she spewed during this press briefing, as usual. So here's lie number one.
Earlier you talked about how you didn't want to comment on what school administrators might do, but the protesters themselves have now defied a 2 p.m. deadline. Should they leave?
The protesters themselves have?
Yes, there was a deadline for them to leave by 2 p.m. and they have not done so. What does the White House think?
You mean that Columbia has said there is a 2 p.m. deadline for them? Okay. I'm just not going to comment on leadership at colleges and universities, their decisions. That's for them to decide. We've been very clear. Americans have the right to peacefully protest, and we're going to continue to call out any type of hateful rhetoric, any type of potential hateful violence here. It has no place in America. Anti-Semitism, we're going to call out. It is abhorrent, and that is hate speech. We're just going to be consistent when it comes to those types of decisions on campuses. That is something for college, universities, leadership to decide on.
So if you notice, she didn't even answer the question. The question that was asked from the reporter was that she could comment on the protesters themselves instead of the administration's decisions on how to handle the protests. He opened the question with saying that he knows that the Biden administration doesn't want to do that. So then he asked her to comment on the protests themselves. And yet she reverts back to saying, I'm just not going to comment on the administration's decisions at those schools. The Biden administration is continuing to talk out of both sides of their mouth on this issue. And it's embarrassing. And it's blatantly obvious. They're reading off a script, each member of the Biden administration. Whenever they come upon this question, it's always the fact that they say that peaceful protests should happen and also saying that anti-Semitism is wrong. They never condemn the protests. They're not even saying the protesters are being anti-Semitic. They're just saying, they're putting a blanket statement out of saying anti-Semitism is wrong, even though, like I said, you have people from the left like AOC and Ilhan Omar at these protests pretty much encouraging the protesters to keep doing what they're doing. But then they'll go to the media and they'll say, oh, anti-Semitism is wrong. They're just trying to talk out of both sides of their mouths, and their actions don't back up their words. Because the truth is, the Biden administration is too scared to condemn these protests because they know that these people are their voters. So they're not going to dig themselves an even deeper hole with these voters. And at the same time, trying to support Israel. It's not really working. The United States is continuing to abandon Israel. So it's the game continues. The game continues with the Biden administration of trying to keep their young voters while also trying to support Israel with mouth service, may I add. Their actions back up their supporting these protests, but their mouths are saying that they support Israel. It's blatantly obvious, and it's becoming blatantly obvious to the average American citizen what they're doing. And so that was lie number one. You know what? I'll give it to you. Maybe that wasn't a lie, more of a non-answer, misdirection answer from Karine Jean-Pierre. But this one is a blatant lie.
In the meantime, we always said that we don't believe moving with an executive action is the way to go. We want to see that proposal, but we're always going to look at all options. I don't have a decision to be made. I don't have anything to announce, but we're going to continue to call on Republicans, call on Congress to move that that bipartisan Senate proposal forward.
I mean, she's right. The Biden administration does not believe in executive actions at the border. That's why President Biden put in 94 executive actions during his first 100 days in office to get rid of all the stuff that worked under the Trump administration at the border. So yeah, he doesn't believe in executive action at the border. He only believes in executive action on stuff that works at the border. He's only using executive actions to mess up the border. But yet, they say that Republicans are to blame for this because they won't pass this bipartisan bill, which in the bill, it allows 5,000 illegal immigrants to come through daily to keep the border from getting stuffed up. There's so much stuff in the bill that was snuck in there that doesn't fix the solution at all. And they like to think that throwing money at the border, we need more agents at the border. We need to fund the border better. No, that's not what we need to do. What we need to do is put back the stuff that worked in the Trump administration at the border instead of getting rid of it with executive actions. But then she's going to tell you that the Biden administration doesn't believe in executive actions at the border. She's lying to you because Biden put in 94 executive actions within his first 100 days. That was a priority for him, to put executive actions to get rid of the stuff that worked at the border. So that was a blatant lie. Here's a short little one. This is a funny one.
We understand that prices, again, are too low.
Do I even need to explain that one? Prices are too low, guys. I don't know if you noticed. Prices are too low. And even if they were too low, that's a bad thing. Obviously, they're not too low. Obviously, inflation has been through the roof. But, and people are going to say that was a like she misspoke. Yeah, she did, but that's a problem. She misspoke to say, obviously, prices are too low, you guys. She's an embarrassment. She is awful at her job. She does nothing but lie and gaslight. And, I mean, she's the perfect press secretary for this administration who does nothing but lie and gaslight. So, maybe she is just perfect for the job. But, that her being the press secretary shows what the Biden administration thinks of you, the American citizen. They think that you're stupid. They think that you'll listen to whatever is told to you. You won't do your own research, and you'll just listen to all the lies. But more and more people are opening up to this. They're waking up. They're waking up to the lies that they're being told. Obviously, when she says stuff like the Biden administration doesn't believe in executive actions at the border, people are becoming more informed that that's just wrong because of all the executive actions he took to get rid of the stuff that worked at the border. So clearly, she's just a blatant liar, and it's becoming more and more obvious.